We are live.
All right. So we are live now. Good evening, everyone. I welcome all the participants who have registered for this amazing session that we have scheduled today with Samanika Rawat, which I'm glad to have with us. So I'll just take 2 minutes to quickly introduce her because I know you all are here to listen to Samanika and not me. So Samanika, I don't think she needs much introduction to law students at this point of time because in my personal opinion and frankly speaking even from LinkedIn's opinion, she's one of the most influencing figures as a legal mentor that we have right now. Samanika is an alumnus of NUJS Kolkata, and she is preparing for SSB. She has been conferenced several times, for which I have immense respect, Samanika. So SSB is one of the toughest examination there is, and she is, like I said, the founder of YLCC, that is a platform for mentoring law students in several areas, and primarily for things like their internships and their placements. And if you go through her LinkedIn profile, you will find out all the success that she has garnered in that area with her previous association in Law Seco as well as in her individual capacity. So, welcome, Samanika. Really glad to have you here with us, and I'm really looking forward to listen to this session, as I'm sure our listeners are. So, without any further ado, I'll hand over the mic to you, and we may initiate the session.
Thank you so much, Rashmi, for that beautiful introduction. But like you've put a lot of pressure on me, I think there will be a lot of expectation after hearing so many things. Most of it actually just happened. I was just going with the flow of life, and I was preparing, like you mentioned, I was preparing for my JAG SSB when I got a call from my college senior Abhyuday that they wanted me to prepare a course for their platform Law Seco, and from there I just happened to become the placements head. Like they just said that we want you to set up this platform. So for all these 2.5 years, like I was just trying to have fun. It was none of it was like actually planned or something like I was actually planning to do. I was focusing, trying to focus on my JAG, and simultaneously I was doing this. Whatever is on LinkedIn, usually I tell people also that like if you're putting content on LinkedIn, plan it, prepare a content calendar and everything, we usually tell. But being very honest, I'll confess that yeah, I never plan my own content. I just like whatever thought comes to my mind, I utilize the platform of LinkedIn to share the message, and I'm so glad that it resonates, or like people are able to connect with me. All right. So, hello everyone. I'm Samanaka, founder of YLCC. And like Rashmi said, today I'm here to take the session on how to get good internships. So, I have been taking this session at YLCC for past 1 month. I had taken three sessions. So, to today's audience, I'll try to cover up, like, because it is going to be to a great extent like a one sided session. So, what I'll try to do is I'll try to cover most of the answer questions which were asked by my students in those previous sessions. And if you have any further doubts, if you are here with us live, then you can write your doubts in the chat box as well. I know that it's a weekend here. The Holi is about to come, and most of you would be like slightly tired because the physical colleges have just started. So do not take this like any other like very hectic, very heavy session. It is just going to be a conversation between two of us. You can simply listen to me, make notes if you want to, if you feel like some things are important for you, and feel free to just engage more, because the more you like engage with us, the more we'll be able to like understand where you're coming from, what your main challenges are, and how we can help you. All right. So I'm taking the liberty to have you with me for next 45-50 minutes, and I really hope you get some value out of this. Okay. So when we talk about internships, now the term good internship, why I picked this term is because I saw a lot of people using this term on LinkedIn, and it was commonly floating there. And a lot of people on my LinkedIn inbox, if you check, you will find this word like written by at least 50 to 100 people in past 3 to 4 months, that we are looking for a good internship, or we still not we have not been able to find a good internship. So I decided to put that as the title, that how to get a good internship. But first let's try to decode what exactly is a good internship. Okay. Now any internship can actually be a good or a bad internship for you. The power lies to a great extent in your hands to decide whether it's a good internship or a bad internship. No internship per se is a good internship or a bad internship, be it in terms of the office you get, be in terms of the work hours you get, be in terms of the assignments you get. There are multiple factors which law students need to understand to decide for themselves whether a particular internship was a good internship or a bad internship. And I have had a combination of both. Like I have been in offices till 1 in the night doing my internships, and have gotten a like good amount of quality work also. I worked late hours in the office when the entire office had left, just because I was preparing a PPT for a partner from another office. I have also like taken stipend from a big firm, and then only read Alchemist during my internship because there was no work at all from the associates. Okay, so I have been like exposed to all different kinds of internship you guys might have heard of or might have gone through. And still, from that experience itself, I'll tell you that there is no such thing as a good or a bad internship externally. It is all internal. Now I'll tell you how. Now a good internship is something where you get to learn something new. Now do not limit your scope of an internship to only legal learnings. The moment you try to pigeonhole things, the moment you try to have a very myopic view about everything, that is the time you as a student end up losing a good amount of opportunities to learn, and then you start labeling things as good or bad. I have done a district court internship where we used to hardly be there for like 4 hours or 3 hours or max 5 hours a day in the chamber. And yet I still call it a very good internship because I was learning through observation so many different things, which if somebody would have taught me or spoon fed me or hand holded me, I may not have been able to learn. At the same time, there was another internship I did as an in-house intern, where there was no much work for the interns because most of the in-house places, they do not share their documents due to confidentiality issues. So therefore I ended up helping the clerk in preparing his Excel sheets, and in return, when I was able to help him like sort his files and like put them properly, like all the mess we were able to sort out in 2 weeks together, then after that I approached him and said like, do you mind allowing me to go through these files now, right? So I'll tell you how, what is a good internship from you. A good internship is something where you are not, as a law student, not only learning about how to draft, how to research, how to write, but also learning beyond that limited scope of what is given to you, what task is given to you, right? Therefore physical internships to a great extent are very very helpful in giving you a broader exposure. However, when I talk about physical internship or when I talk about internship in itself, I always say that do not limit yourself to a 1 month internship, and particularly to the summer and the winter break where everybody else is also interning, because that is the time there are so many interns together, from 15 to 30 students interning at one time, and you as a student, as an individual, get very limited scope to become visible to the firm, because firm also knows, okay fine, like a new pool of 20 to 30 students have come here, they are going to leave in like some time. Now as a student, you join the firm for internship on the first of the month and you leave on the 30th of the month. The client does not come like you on the first of the month and leaves on 30th. He can come in the last week, he can come in the second week. And therefore if you are with the same organization, with the same team for at least more than 2.5 months, the firm is able to understand that, okay fine, this person will be reliable. Because for a due diligence, most of you might have heard of this word, because from second third year when you start doing law firm internships, this is a common term which keeps coming up: due diligence, due diligence. Now you might have observed that for a due diligence you need to spend at least 2 to 3 months on one particular matter, right? Now if every month 30 new students are coming, and like they know that, okay, this pool, like it takes 1 week to remember somebody's name. Okay, 3 weeks I'm going to give assignment to this chap, then next 3 weeks again I'll have to explain the same thing from scratch to another person, then another next 3 weeks maybe another person. So usually then they're like, who's going to spend so much time in explaining these things to the interns, let's instead do it on our own. But if there is a one intern who's there in the firm for 2 to 3 months, they'll be like, okay fine, if I invest more time in training this person from scratch, in making him understand what we are looking for, why we are doing what we are doing, doing, he will also be able to help me. So do not take internships as a place of mentorship. Do not think that you'll go there and somebody sitting over there waiting to teach you from scratch. No, that is mentorship. This is internship. Internship is basically actually a place of performing, and you learn while doing those assignments which are given to you, right? So it is not the place of learning. Learning has to happen before you join an internship, so that you are able to perform really well, so that you are able to get a call back, so that you are able to get a pre-placement offer. Now, for all the students from first year to third year who do not understand these terms, I'll come back to you now. Now, how do you plan your internship? In your first year, I'll start with a 5-year course, and then I'll come to a 3-year course. Okay. Now, for the 5-year course student, the usual pattern is that in your first year, try focusing on interning with NGOs, your legal aid clinics, your human rights commission, or other different kinds of commissions. Then your district court internship. This is the time period where you haven't studied much of law. Okay, so do not confuse this, that oh, because I haven't studied law, what am I going to do in an NGO? I haven't studied law, what am I going to do in a legal aid clinic, right? Do not always think from like your legal learning only, because legal learning happens at a very very late stage. Firstly, what you need to understand is that law is applicable to humans. Everything comes down to the same thing, that if you do not understand how humans function, what is the human psychology, what is the human beings like behavioral patterns and all of that, then it will become very difficult for you, whatever domain you are in, to be able to proceed, or to be able to like prosper. But if you understand human behavior, so I did like I was associated with 3 different NGOs, one in Dehradun, one in Calcutta, and also IDIA. So I was getting different kind of exposure, nothing related to law per se. But yes, I was associated with this NGO from first year. I still am. It's been like almost 10 years now. So in my second year, I got an opportunity to draft a RTI. Now RTI was something like, if you ask a lot of people, even in their fourth and fifth year, still don't know how to file a RTI. That is not something they teach in law school, which I feel that they must. So in my second year, I was filing a RTI. In my second year, I was standing before the State Information Commission office appealing against an RTI. Then I was also standing before the State Secretariat office, because the NGO's founder called me and he was in Jodhpur. He said, Samanaka, you are in Dehradun, you're a law student. Can you please go and appeal before the State Secretariat office that like this is the RTI we had filed and they do not give us a satisfactory response. So that was a great learning. Then we were organizing different kinds of marathons. So the different kinds of permission we had to take, the different kind of administration, offices we had to visit to get permissions and all. That helped me in understanding how the system of law and order functions in my city or in my state. That if you are running if you are organizing a marathon of, let's say, 8 to 10 kilometers, then at every single place where the jurisdiction is changing, how do we like go to a new police thana and new police chowki and try to convince them that now we need a permission, how to like talk to police officers and all of that. This was what I learned in my first year in the name of like working with the NGO. Now it may not have been core legal learning, but yes, it was the extended version of understanding how the system is functioning. And understanding, once you understand how the system functions, I'm so sorry for the tongue twisting today, but yeah, once you understand how your system functions, it becomes easier for you to be able to like work with them, and also like when you're working against them, to understand that okay, fine, if I'm going to say this or if I'm going to do this, how is the other party going to react? Okay, so your legal aid NGOs work help you a lot in this direction. I remember my batchmates were interning with this very renowned Rajasthan based NGO called PUCL, and they told me once that they were sitting on strike. Now, labor law is something you study in fourth year, but in their first year, when they were sitting on the strike, they got to learn so many different aspects of it. Practically, they had been a part of it. So, when they were studying the same thing in theoretical format in their fourth year, they were able to reconnect with it in a much better manner. Okay, so this was about the NGO internship. Legal aid clinics, again, working with legal aid clinics helps you in understanding what kind of challenges do common people face on everyday basis, and therefore it helps you in understanding that okay, like when I read this file or when I heard about this particular kind of matter, I felt really connected. I really wanted to help this person. On the other hand, when I heard about this kind of matter, I was like not very much attached, or like I felt disinterested about it. So that helps you in understanding your area of interest also. In your first year, you should be exploring all different places, and most of the best thing what happens is you learn through observation. I interned with a district court civil lawyer, but he used to share his chamber with a criminal lawyer. So in our free time, like we used to ask the criminal lawyer, junior, that sir, do you mind sharing us this file? So the concepts of adultery, which was a crime at that point of time, there was this matter going on. Firstly, we used to observe how the client handling is happening, like how is the lawyer treating the client, how are they negotiating about the like fee, and then how are they talking about the matter, how confident is the lawyer, what kind of feedback does he give to the client. So all these things which you require in your practical life, once you start practicing, all of that observation happens at a very early age. So in your first year, do not think that, oh, I'll directly join a law firm, or I'll directly join a big fancy senior advocate and like he'll teach me something. No, it does not happen like that. You have to be extremely grounded and open to learnings in your first few years, so that once you understand, once you know, once you are slightly mature enough to apply that knowledge, and that is the time when you like perform really well, bloom, and you get those PPOs and all those fancy words you hear. All right, so this was about the first year. In your second year, you should complete your court internships, because again, in your second year, you still haven't studied a lot of corporate subjects. So in court internships, there are so many options you get. It is not only limited to your district court, high court, and supreme court. Firstly, I would highly advise students to not directly jump to high court or supreme court, because I understand that yes, all the matters are happening in English, so it becomes easier for you to think that, oh, I would go with a high court lawyer or supreme court lawyer because he's quite renowned, he's available in the public media and all of that. He's maybe even present on LinkedIn, because that's how a lot of people judge lawyers. Uh, I don't know, like what do I call, expertise or kind of brand value. But that is not true. Most of the actual filing, the original filing, is happening at the district court, and it will be happening in your local language. So tomorrow, let's say, even if you start with big fancy cities like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, metro cities, but if you want to come back to your own smaller towns and practice, it shouldn't be like after working in big fancy firms for 5 6 years, you come back to a city and you do not even know like what is happening, you have no contacts or nothing like that. So in your first year, when you are getting that kind of exposure, you would know that, okay, in my state, this is how the family courts function, in my state, this is how the magistrate court function, in my state, this is how the criminal matters are like taken care of or conducted, and all of that. So you'll have some understanding, and it actually helps you in shaping your personality as an individual. Okay, now second year, when I said so many options are there in terms of litigation internships, what are these options? So yes, definitely you have your high court internship, supreme court internship, district court, so many different options. High court, again, you can intern with, ideally I would suggest to not directly jump to tax litigation or IPR litigation, rather first explore civil, criminal, and constitutional litigation. Must, actually, constitution should be there in your like wish list, that I definitely want to do an internship, because that is where we are getting like the law of this land is getting its power from. So you cannot say that, oh, I might be a very good in XYZ subject, but I don't understand constitution. Then how come you are a lawyer then practicing advocate, right? So getting an exposure to constitutional law, because there the kind of arguments which are made. So a common I'll slightly deviate from the main topic. A common thing which most of the students struggle with is the difference between NLU and non-NLU. I'm so sorry for the tongue twisting today, I don't know why. But yeah, the NLU and non-NLU difference, I see so many debates happening on LinkedIn, and people saying NLU students are preferred, non-NLU students are not given this, that, and like they feel deprived and all. Firstly, the I'll share the funny truth from the other side, because I happen to be from a NLU, that the bottom 7 or bottom 20 NLUs keep on thinking that, oh, it's only top 3 NLUs which get all the opportunities. All the foreign firms are coming to top 3 NLUs, all the big fancy high paying firms first go to these NLUs and all. Okay, so within NLUs also there is a segregation, and the same kind of confusion happening there. Then amongst those top 3 NLUs, you have all the students saying that, oh, all the opportunities go to top 20 or top 30 of the batch. We call this very famous tier 1 firm, and where the HR is known to bang the telephone because you are not from top NLU or in amongst the top 20 students, right? So this blame giving thing is not only happening between NLUs and non NLUs, it happens within NLUs also, and amongst the top NLUs also, within the same batch students also. So it is a never ending fight. But yes, if you still want to become visible, if you still want to stand out, just start doing things just try to understand what are these NLUs teaching differently. And I'll tell you what. So in a NLU, as compared to any other private or traditional university, the focus is not on ratifying, the focus is not on mugging up things. We are taught that you can have an open book exam, you can carry whatever bare act you want to, you can carry whatever books also in some subjects, but your question paper will not be a direct question, because in life, in your practical life, the client will never come to you and say what is the definition of theft, or like what do you mean by theft in India, right? Client will never ask you that. The client will always come with a complicated problem. So in NLUs we are taught to have multiple perspectives, and therefore most of our exam papers, you will see that they are hypothetical situations, real life situations. I remember in my second year, the CRPC paper, there was an accident which happened, like a boy fell from third or fourth floor of a hostel building, and that was the actual problem in our end semester exam for the CRPC paper, that we had to like now prepare the case from both sides and give final judgment. So these are the kind of question papers which come across to us. Then we write one research paper for every subject every semester. So by the time we finish 50 subjects in 5 years, we already have 50 projects written, which means like we are pro at research, we are pro at typing, we are pro at like doing things at the last moment, because we know what we basically we become pro at like doing smart work and not just the hard work, right? Now how can you learn these things during your internship is that the most important thing which separates a good lawyer in comparison to any other lawyer is your perspectives. Can you read the same law from multiple perspectives in favor of your client, while at the same time being aware that how is the other party going to interpret the same law, so that you are already prepared for it. And this comes through practice. So when I say that you learn in your first 2 years by observations, this is exactly what I mean to say, that like try to build different kinds of perspectives, try to engage yourself in different kinds of conversations with seniors, try to learn from their experiences, because a senior may not have a good very high paying client at that point of time for that particular month, and therefore he may not be able to float good quality work to you, or even if he has, because there are some strong confidentiality issues, and therefore they are not able to share that information with you. But it there is no one stopping you from having good conversations. I remember I was interning with Shanti Bhushan sir, and he was extremely old at that point of time. So despite his poor health, we knew that like he may not be able to speak a lot, so we used to respect him, we used to do all the homework, and it was only 10 minutes window we used to get during lunch, where we all would sit together with him, and there would be a food tiffin which came from his home, and like he would have a conversation with us. So we always used to wait for those 10 minutes to like briefly have a conversation with him for any topic, like whatever his point of view would be, because that was how we were trying to build our perspective. So it might be possible that your senior is not giving you a lot of work, but if you're updated about what is happening around, if you are aware of multiple point of views also, then you can initiate conversations and build your perspectives. Okay, so second year internships, again court internships with lawyers, different kinds of specialized lawyers. Also you can explore your internships as judicial clerkship internship. Basically you intern under the chambers of a particular judge, and then you try to get basically you get an exposure to see how the bench looks at the matters. You get to explore a completely different perspective, because as a lawyer you'll mostly be thinking from the point of view of your client. How am I going to defend him? How am I going to counter claim the other party and all of that? but from a judge's side you are getting a completely different outlook. Like that's maybe like an eagle's view, I would say, for like those people who are still not able to understand. And the best part is that for those people who feel that they might want to explore arbitration in the near future, now you know that in corporate side also there's a lot of good overlap of arbitration, because majority of these big size commercial agreements have an arbitration clause within that. So who are these arbitrators? Like at least 60 to 80% time, one of the arbitrator is kind of a retired judge, right? So if you've already interned with a judge's chamber, you know how judges think. That will always help you in the long run. So you finish all your court internships, and if you still get time, or if you do not just want to do a high court or a supreme court or a district court internship, then there are so many different types of tribunals you can explore. There is one particular tribunal for every specialized kind of law. So if you're not getting internship with the renowned high court judges or supreme court judges or high court lawyers and supreme court judges, you can definitely explore opportunities at tribunal level, because yes, there also there's a good quality work happening, right? So you finish all your court internships by the time you reach your third year, or you are at least in the mid of your third year. That is the time mostly in your fifth or sixth semester when you start studying companies law. Now, ideally, you should not go for a core corporate law firm internship before that. Yesterday, only a student was telling me that her batchmate got a tier one firm internship in his first year itself. Now, somebody who does not even know the difference between shares and debentures, somebody who does not even know the difference between public company, private company, who does not know how to do research on platforms like Manupatra, SCC, or your Westlaw, or whatever the different databases are, for that person it does not make sense to like kind of waste your contact in your first year to go to a law firm, because what work do you think will they be giving you? They are already so occupied, they have so much of work, and they will just give you ancillary work like beta ppt bana lo, excel sheet bana lo, and like ye filing print kara ke aa jao, and all of that, right? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to like just waste your duration because you want to show in your cv that okay, in my first year and my second year itself I was interning with such a big firm. Rather, it is advisable for you to get a hang of first the kind of vocab which is used, first the having some basic knowledge of what companies act talks about, what are the different kinds of companies, what is an investment. Now you all have watched Shark Tank. Now I know that now at least people understand the meaning of equity and debt and all of these concepts, but earlier it was difficult for students to be aware of these. So basic knowledge once you've understood, and that is when you should start applying to big firms, because there's no point second year mein aap apply karoge, the firm is not going to take you. The firm has a clear mindset that I want that person who can help me also. In the name of internship, I am not going to like spend a lot of time in just mentoring students who will be here for a very temporary time period, because for the firms the client matters the most. There are individual people also who might be charging 10K for the same kind of work for which the firm might be charging 50 to 70K or even more than that. Now why is the client going to a firm? Because time is of utmost essence to these kind of clients who go to big firms and pay more money to them as compared to any other smaller or independent lawyer, because they can be assured by the firm that like yes, we will deliver the work within the set timeline. So the timeline is of extreme importance to them, and that's why they will not be like spending a lot of time in training you from scratch. Then they'll just give you one or two research queries and may not even give you feedback, because they would be like there's no point at this point of time to like get into this, we have something more urgent right now. But if you're somebody who already understand, who can tell them that okay, this is the kind of work you're doing, this is the bare minimum knowledge I have about it, now I want to help you also and learn more about it. So at least the firm would be like okay, if I'm giving the student an agreement which is a loan agreement, ऐसा नहीं होगा बच्चा मुझसे आके पूछेगा कि मैम what is a loan agreement, or like what is a term sheet, what is a letter of intent, like the basic एकदम से basic keywords, because he would already have studied those concepts or he would have some exposure about it. So I do not, as a law firm advocate, do not have to like sit with him from scratch to train him. Okay. Now therefore in from third year onwards is the right time when you should start applying for your law firm opportunities. For somebody who wants to continue with litigation, does not want to do a law firm job, you can continue with litigation internship, but ideally I would suggest you can get different kinds of exposures also. Firms also have a litigation vertical, so you can intern with the, instead of just interning with chambers, you can even explore your litigation internship with firms to understand how different things are happening. happening there. And then there is something called cop litigation for those people who do not want to go into pure cop, who do not want to go into pure litigation, but maybe want an overlap of both, that they should be talking about corporate deals and all, but also willing to like explore how the code functions and how the entire litigation thing is done. Then they can even try cop litigation like within firm, because see, we have very limited time today here, so I am not going to go into the depth of what all comes under litigation, what all comes under corporate, and what are the other opportunities, because I take at least 2.5 hours to explain each and every option. It is not just limited to two options of litigation and corporate. Like it, there are n number of options within that, and like you as a law student get so much power to choose for yourself. But the only reason I see a lot of law students feeling trapped, which I was also in the same position when I was in my third year, mid law school crisis we used to call it, is that like, oh, what do I do? Like I do not see myself fitting in either of the two. So it's never black and white, it is always gray. Like there are so many options. You like um eating, I simply tell my students that if you love eating food, go work with Zomato and Swiggy with their legal team. If you love traveling, you go work with Indigo and make my trip and join their legal team. Because all these platforms, the beauty of the subject law is that every single domain will have a legal team, and therefore based on your interest you can always explore, and you need not have a very limited myopic view that, oh, there is only top 7 law firms, or oh, there are only top 40 law firms in India, and if I don't get it, oh my god, what is going to happen to me? I had a batch of 120 people, and trust me, the 120th rank holder is also very well employed right now. Okay, so jobs you will definitely get, but how you plan things for yourself is going to determine whether you are actually going to stay at one place for like at least 2 to 3 years, or will you leave within like 5 months or 6 months or less than a year. Okay, this was for a 5-year course people student. The plan, the 3-year course student, how they should plan their internship is, in the first year, like briefly intern with your different ministry offices if possible, or legal aid clinics ideally. In the second year, or you can even ask your faculty members if they would be more interested in writing research papers with you. That is the time like you will be able to get long term assistance also, and you will be able to learn. So the 3-year course students should focus a lot on research papers, which even the 5-year students should. But for 3 years it's a must. Like in your first year, instead of getting deviated, instead of focusing on any other thing, I had a student who broke down in front of me 3 days back because she said that, ma'am, I just came to Delhi, and like I got such a huge cultural shock here, and like everybody saying ye committee hai, wo committee hai, ye bhi karna hai, wo bhi karna hai, and I don't know how to balance classes, how to balance my personal life, how to balance this, that. So if you're also somebody who's stuck somewhere and like is not able to understand what is happening, where am I flowing right now, then the only thing you need to do is take a pause and reflect and just do only most important things. So if you ask me what is the most important thing for a lawyer, the first and foremost thing which is most important is to know how to do research and how to write. Because your client ka first requirement will be to tell me whether this thing can be done or not. He just needs a clear answer. He does not understand law, he does not even want to understand law. All he wants is a clear cut answer whether he can do something or whether he cannot, as per the law. So if you're not good at research, if you're somebody who says these days market mein itne sare career coaches hain, I have seen final year students also claiming themselves to be career coaches. It's good if there are more number of helping hands, but the only sad part is that I saw some people sharing this information that if you're not good at something, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, like moot courts, MUN parliamentary debates, or research papers. Now here is a very, this is a very very wrong advice. Whoever is giving it, it's a very wrong advice you are getting. You can skip everything else, you can skip any kind of co-curricular or extracurricular activity, but do not skip writing research papers. Because as a lawyer, if you are saying that I am afraid of doing research, I find it uncomfortable to research and put things together in one single document, then what are you going to do when you work for a client? The client will always come with a query, why is he paying you? Right? So it is as good as saying that, okay, a doctor can like choose not to practice sports, the doctor can choose not to practice anything, and even if he does not want to operate a body, it's okay. but you can still study medicine. Sorry boss, who are you? Like, why are you spoiling somebody's career by giving this kind of advice, right? So if you're somebody who's consuming this kind of knowledge also, please, it's a huge mistake you're committing. I wish I was told this in my colleges, the importance of research papers. But yes, because like I told you, we were already like preparing at least 50 research projects by the end of our fifth year. So I was still safe like when I joined a law firm. But most of the time you struggle if you do not know how to do research. So do not try to skip that. That is a very good practice, because that helps you. Like, why, see, during internships now, a lot of people complain that, oh, we don't want to go to this office or that office because 14 hours tak office mein baithna padta hai, and वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. I did not even get to, like, I just learned three things in my 1 month internship. I don't know whether I can still call it a good internship, bad internship. I get so many these kind of queries every single day. So what, why is this problem, and why is this problem not only with interns but also fresh associates? Because what's the difference between a fresh associate and an intern? Just hardly 6 months ka difference hai, final year student or ek fresh associate mein. He just completed his fifth year, he became an associate, the other person is still in college, will become an associate in 5 6 months, right? So what is the main difference? And they also keep crying when they join in first 2 years. That's why you see so many people leaving big law firms and like high paying jobs, because they say, oh, it's so uncomfortable and like mera pura mental health kharab ho gaya, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya. But try to understand why is that happening. It happens not because somebody forces you to sit in office for 10 to 12 hours, but it happens because they only tell you what to do, they don't tell you how to do the work. And that is where the challenge lies. Because if you don't know how to do it, you might take 4 hours to do something, and you might even take 9 hours to do something, right? So ultimately the firm does not care whether you spend 4 hours or you spend 9 hours. All they care about is whatever work was given to you, were you able to deliver or not. And if you are somebody who has a constant habit of doing good quality research work, like who remains updated, who reads good amount of cases to build new perspectives, who knows what is happening and what are the two sides trying to argue from legal perspective, that is the person who is able to do the same research in a quick manner as compared to the other associate or the other intern who took the at least 4 to 5 hours to do the same research. Now for you, the same internship might have been very toxic, very unhealthy, whatever name you want to call it. And for the other person who was able to finish the same work within 1.5 hour, he would have been very happy that, oh wow, I learned something new and I was able to do it quickly. This comes only through practice, right? So if you, that is the reason why now bar council or all the law colleges are focusing so much on the importance of internships. It was not there maybe 10 15 years back. People at that point of time were not doing these many internships. But the reason why everybody focuses so much on internship is because they want you to get this kind of training before you join the organization itself. Okay, so for a 3 year batch, first year legal aid clinics or different kinds of ministry offices, again, focus on your observational skills, focus on learning through what is happening around, reading files and all of that. Then in your second year, ideally directly jump to, if you want to go for a corporate career because you do not have a lot of time, quickly jump to a corporate office, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 firms. There are so many independent law firms also, independent lawyers also, who are practicing these days in corporate law or whatever your area of interest is, be it competition law, be it IPR laws, whatever. You would find at least one professional on LinkedIn who's practicing in that area, and you can simply reach out to them. You can tell them that I'm looking for an opportunity. And then in your third year, you should divide your 1 full year or 2 full years into quarters. I say that divide your entire year if you want to plan things for yourself and you do not want the external peer pressure to influence you or to disturb your mental state. What you can simply do is plan your year in different quarters. How you do it is 3 month to 4 month quarters, and then you say that within this quarter, I'm going to do one internship for maybe 2.5 months. Then I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to do another internship. Then I'm going to take a break to charge myself up. Then I'm going to do another internship. That way, like depending on how much load you would want to take. Now the next question will be that, ma'am, but colleges have reopened in physical form, how can we do internship? We can only intern during in the peak months. The simple answer to this is, you guys are lucky that firms have now understood the concept of virtual internships, which means that now they are okay with students committing to 4 5 hours and working from home. So most of the students in Bombay, from colleges like NMIMS or Praveen Gandhi or GLC, what I've seen them doing is in the first half they would go to college and they would have an arrangement with the firm that we are going to join you in the second half. Because don't you think that when students are only joining firms in 2 to 3 specific months of a particular year, summer break and winter break, would they not need interns throughout the entire year as well? Especially when they have like financial closure happening in the month of March. They have most of the due diligences starting from the month of September, October, right? But those are the months where firms do not have many interns, and that is the opportunity where smart students like make space for themselves. They tell the firm that we are going to be interning at one office for at least 3 months, but we will only do partial internship like 4 hours or 5 hours a day. And now you guys are lucky, firms are even giving these as virtual internships and not as only physical internships. So if you are somebody who's doing a 3 year course in Delhi or Bombay, firstly you can definitely have this arrangement where you can tell them that I'm going to be working here for at least 3 to 4 months, but allow me to intern from the second half, maybe from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then remaining work, if there's any, I'll go back and finish it off. What you can do is like at 9 o'clock in the morning, we can have a quick meeting for 15 minutes where you brief me what is expected out of me. 9:30 onwards, I'll be attending my class or like doing stuff. I'll be free by 2 o'clock, like depending on your college schedule. I know like different people have different classes timing. Some have at even 7:30, some have at 12 o'clock, whatever it is. So you do your arrangement that way. And like your practical learning should not be limited to your winter break and summer break. That can happen throughout the year. I had a college batchmate who never used to intern during the winter and summer break. She would be like, I've already killed myself for all these 10 months in college. I do not want to, like, these 2 months are called vacation. So I am going to be with my family at home, not intern. But during those 10 months when she was in college, you would mostly find her in library writing research papers, editing different kinds of articles and doing a lot of other stuff. So she got a very good international law firm opportunity for this reason only, that you need not have 15, 10, 12, whatever number of internships. Don't run behind certificates. Oh, I've done this internship, I've done 5 internships, oh, I've done 15 internships. At the end of the day, your CV is going to be of 2 pages only, right? So even if you do 5 internships, but they are quality internships, you will be able to gain a good quality job as compared to somebody else who's done even 15. I wasn't the batch topper, I hadn't interned with tier 1 firms, and I always keep telling people that I got the job in the HR round only. I did not even have to sit for a technical round, right? I wasn't even maybe in top 20 or top 30 of my batch. How? Because I was very clear as to what I want for myself. I didn't compare myself that, oh, he's doing that, she is doing that, they all are going to this firm, maybe I should. No, I was like, what do I want to do and why I want to do. So that brings me to another point, that make sure you know your why very clearly beforehand only. If I'm applying to this firm, why am I applying to this firm? If I'm doing this internship, why am I doing this internship? Like, what is my main reason for it? And it should be much more than just because my friends are doing, just because, oh, I think that maybe I should do it, or because I'm sending like 50 my CV to 50 places, this is also 51st place, so what's the harm in trying? No, that's not how you do your internship. During your internship, when you're committing to somebody that I will be coming and helping you, see, you have a choice to either think yourself as an intern, oh, I'm here to learn, I don't know much. Or you can like put yourself in the shoes of an associate and take responsibility that now I am answerable to the client, because whatever stipend I am getting as an intern of this firm, the money is coming from the client, and therefore I am answerable for the client. So if my senior is giving me this research query, I have to be 100% responsible, that like I cannot take it lightly, that, oh ma'am, I didn't find an answer, oh ma'am, like, but there is no case law on this. You have to think as a lawyer. Your client will not be happy if you say that, oh, I couldn't find a case law on it, right? So you think as an advocate, when you try to read the law from multiple perspectives, you do not only read general law and think, okay, there is no answer here, or you only read specific law and think, okay, this law is also not telling me what should be the answer. You have to read both of them together, general with specific law, and try to find out with some answer. Of course, there's one person above you, like the associate, senior associate, principal associate, whoever has given you that work. They are definitely there to verify or to tell you that whether you went in the right direction or wrong direction. Okay, so but your responsibility is to at least ensure that you are not submitting half drafts and saying that, oh, but I tried researching for 5 hours and I didn't get anything. No. The next thing, which okay, so now you know that as a 3-year course student, what all things should you do. As a 5-year student, what all things should you do. The next question which I am okay, people have written in the chat that my video is paused. Is it functioning? Can anyone confirm? You can either write in the chat box or like you can unmute and let me know. Okay, I'm
Yes, it
audible,
is visible.
visible. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So now, when we are like aware of how this is to be done, the next question I'm expecting in the chat would soon come is, but how do we start our first corporate internship? Litigation internship फिर भी मिल जाएगी, contact के through मिल जाएगी, LinkedIn के through senior से बात करके मिल जाएगी. But how do I ensure in getting that first corporate internship? Because everybody is saying, do you have any exposure? Do you have any exposure? But where do I get that first exposure? The best thing is, see, they are like, you can always start with a tier 3 or a tier 4 firm. Chances of getting a confirmation there, if you apply well in time, if you follow up properly, if you write a proper cover letter which is customized and personalized to the firm and not a generic cover letter, then chances of you getting that internship are actually there. ऐसा नहीं है that firms do not take freshers at all. Today only I got an IPR opportunity from somebody, and she said it's a startup and they want to do like trademark contract drafting and filing and research or trademark and patents. So the first thing I asked her was, are you only expecting me to send you like people who had IPR exposure, or are you even open to having freshers? She said, if somebody is actually willing to learn Samanaka, I do not mind having a fresher. So from recruiter side, I am telling you guys that it is not that we do not want to like invest our time in training a fresher, but that fresher, what happens is that in a month, let's say if 500 interns are applying and the HR gives confirmation to 25 students, trust me, out of those 25, only 15 to 17 people will turn up on the first day. Remaining are either going to ghost or make excuses because they would have gotten parallel internships. Firms are aware, organizations are aware of it, that if even after we give confirmation, they are going to go somewhere else. Firstly, do not try to do multiple internships at a time. Do not try to sail at it is really really dangerous for two reasons. One, if you get good quality work from both the offices, you'll not be able to balance, especially if you're doing like half time internships of 5 to 6 hours. Secondly, it could be possible that these two firms where you are parallelly interning might actually be working on the same matter from two different sides, and it creates such a big confidentiality issue and conflict issue that because of you the firm might be at a risk from the client side, and they do not like it at any cost. That if you say that I'm interning at more than one place without taking their permission, either you inform them, take their permission, and like they'll say that okay, nahi hamara utna zyada kaam nahi hai, yes I think like you we just need your 1 or 2 hours a day, you can like do one more internship, no problem in that. Then there is no harm. There are some organizations which will allow you to do that, but most of the time if you are going for corporate firms, please do not take this risk of doing parallel internships. One. Secondly, now when you are interning at a place, how do you make sure that you stand differently? I told you already that you do longer duration internships instead of shorter duration internships, because when the first batch is moving out and the second batch is entering the firm, that is the best window you get as an old intern to ensure that people already know you. So instead of them going to a fresh intern, they will come to you. Now I told you this figure, okay? Out of 25 confirmations, 17 are going to report. And out of these 17, there are three kinds of interns which usually come to the firm. Around 4 to 5 students who are genuinely serious, who really want to convert it into PPO and call back, and like they would be willing to kill themselves. Okay. But these are the people who already know stuff and they have come here only to perform. Remaining next set of 4 to 5 students who don't know anything about the subject, but they are so sincere and diligent, they really want to learn, and even they want to secure a callback or a PPO. And then the remaining maybe 6 7 students who are there only for the sake of certificate, that ठीक है 3 4 काम कर दिया CV में लिख लेंगे अब क्या, the firm is has to give us the certificate now because we are not submitting the work. But वो firms को भी अच्छा खासा परेशान करके रखते हैं, और like they'll be making excuses, they'll say हम बीमार बीमार हो गए, हम ये हो गया वो हो गया and all of that, right? So firstly, uh, it is not easy for an associate to like take out time from his daily schedule and to filter who are those top 5 or top 10 creamy layer out of these 70. It might happen that like they invested a lot of time in you and you ended up in the remaining 7 who were there only for the certificate. It has happened with me. I've worked with in a firm. There was this intern. I told her to like just I gave her a copy pasting work, but it was not control C control V because I was preparing a full compilation checklist of all the compliance check the client had to do. So there were different documents I had to copy paste it from. So I told her, can you do it? Now she took 4 hours to do it. And what she had done was she just did control C here, control V there, which means had spoiled my entire format of that particular file. And it was 7:15. I told her that, listen, if this is what I wanted you to do, why do you think like I do control C control V instead of like saving the document, emailing it to you, explaining it to you that ऐसे karna, and then like waiting for 3 hours, right? So I was like, no, you've spoiled my document. Firstly, please bring it back to the original shape. And secondly, please do it properly the way you were told to. Now I get a response saying that it's already 7:20 Samanaka. As an intern, I'm supposed to be working from 11 to 7. So I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. And I was like, no, you can't say no to us when like this is of so important, so much of importance to us. Either okay, fine, I understand you have to go back, it's already late in your language, 7:15, 7:30. No problem, tomorrow is Saturday, you come to the office, we all are coming because we have to finish this by Sunday evening. The client has their meeting on Monday morning. So she went to the HR and complained, saying that okay, in your offer letter, in internship letter, you had said Monday to Fridays. 10:30 to 7 p.m. and I've been asked by this associate to come to the office on Saturday. This is wrong, right? So do you think that as an associate after that I would have been interested in like explaining things to any intern? Like I would be like, why am I going to waste my time? They're not here, they're here only for the certificate. That is the kind of impression most of the people do. And that is very sad for those people who are genuinely there to work and learn, because उनका बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान हो जाता है, because then they lose a good mentor who might have been interested in doing that internship, right? So therefore what you need to do is that to be able to reflect to the other person that yes, I'm not amongst those not so serious interns, but yes, I'm genuinely here. Give 100% to one place at a time and make sure you convey it clearly. It's not good that you took 4.5 hours to do a research and come back and say that, oh, I didn't find anything. No, what you can simply do is take 2 hours, go back to them and just check that, say, ma'am, like, can I have your 5 minutes? This is the query which you had given, these were the keywords I was checking, and for past 2 hours I haven't found anything. So would you be able to guide me? Am I going in the right direction, or like should I change my approach? Asking this question will not take more than 2 minutes. And if they would know that you are blatantly committing a mistake, then they will simply say that, no, 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 what are you doing, why are you going in this direction? Secondly, I always tell my students to ask them, why do they want this, like what is the background. Now there is a difference between asking for exact facts and asking for the background. Background could be, they can simply tell you that like our client is trying to do this kind of work and therefore they want us to advise on this. Okay, let's say there's a new amendment which has come up and you've been asked that, find out the amendment and how it is applicable to NBFCs. Now you can simply say that, like, sir, like, could you just give me a background? What exactly are we looking for? What exactly is our client looking for? So then they will tell you that, okay, our client is an NBFC, he does this kind of specific work and he wants to understand if he does this, or because he has been continuously doing this, would he be affected? This is like the understanding background. But understanding facts is, our client ABC is doing this and therefore he wants to know. So you don't need the name of the company, you don't even want to go into the exact specifications. What you want is a basic understanding of the background, so that when you do your research you can keep those briefs in your mind. Okay, now when you ask for this, there are two kinds of seniors you will come across. One who will be like extremely annoyed and he'll be like, jo bola hai wo karo, don't ask me such kind of questions. do whatever is being told to you, don't ask questions. Okay, now that is a very good red flag that this person is a good boss, a good lawyer, but not a great leader or a great mentor. You don't have to take it personally. It is his fault, not yours. A lot of seniors are like that. But if you're lucky, if you're able to communicate the same thing in a very humble tone, if you're able to show that yes, I'm sincere and therefore because I want to help you, that's why I'm asking. Because most of the time during internship in my days also, and when I saw other interns coming to the firms also, I saw that because the associates did not give a clear instruction, the student did the research for 7 8 hours, was very confident that okay, now I have given the final answer, and suddenly the associate going to tell you that no, but this is not what we are looking for. Then they might give you the background. So why to waste their time and your time, right? So you can like perform smartly there. And now coming back to the question which we were discussing, that how do you ensure that you get that first internship. So like I told you, firstly you can reach out to these individual professionals and like convey that I am ready to intern for a longer duration. If you are like willing to help me and train me the basics, I'll do my homework, I'll study about this subject beforehand. And ideally this should happen even before you go and send them this message on LinkedIn, that you should be studying basics. There are so many platforms you can prepare it from. You can simply read the blogs which are there, corporate blogs of good colleges are running their own legal uh, publications ke blogs, parallel blogs also. Then there is Mondak. Most of its articles are paid, but yeah, some of the articles are freely available. One firm which does the best work in this direction is Nishit Desai and Associates, NDA. They do good quality research papers. Websites में उनके available है of around 50 to 70 pages. You can study those, you can understand that okay, like what are the specific sections under this subject which are applicable, which are usually like applied by lawyers in this domain, what are the specific case laws in this domain, recent case laws and all. It is not like the theoretical knowledge of what is taught in classes, but like slightly one step ahead towards the practical side. Then also Cyril Amarchan Cam has, I have heard from multiple students that their blog is also quite really nice. Then there are new firms which are coming up which are parallelly running their blogs, right? So you can be updated, at least basics you can clear. Still if you're not, and then you can convey the same thing in your cover letter or the LinkedIn message you are sending to these organizations, that like I am sincere and this is what I already know and this is how I want to help you. Worst case scenario, if you're still not able to secure a corporate internship, I would suggest one thing: do any good in-house counsel internship with a corporate brand. In-house obviously corporate brand में ही होगा. What is a corporate brand? कोई भी company. कैसे मिलेगी internship? अपने मोहल्ले में देखो, there will be at least 30 people around you who would, out of those 30 at least 20 would be working with 20 different companies. सबको बोलो दीदी भैया अंकल आंटी, आई वांट अ लीगल इंटर्नशिप, आई वांट अ लीगल इंटर्नशिप, आपकी कंपनी में लीगल टीम में इंटर्नशिप दिला दो दिला दो दिला दो. Right, I did this, like I made my own contacts. I'm a first generation lawyer, I did not have any contact, my parents did not even understand the concept of internship. So what I did was I went to my cousin's wedding, and there somebody was her like cousin from the other side was there. I got to know that he's working with Vodafone. He was in the sales team. I started begging him like anything. I was like, भैया मुझे Vodafone की legal team में किसी भी तरह से internship दिलाओ, but please दिलाओ 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 दिलाओ. And I told him that like this is what I know and like I can be of help. I'll ensure that आपका नाम मेरी वजह से खराब नहीं होगा वगैरह वगैरह. So that's how I got my first Vodafone internship. It wasn't it, even though it was through contact, it wasn't a direct contact. I built that contact, sorry, not contract. So as law students, अगर आप बोलोगे कि oh I am a first generation lawyer but I don't know networking and I do not even have any contact. No baby, honestly, स्पून फीड करने कोई नहीं आएगा प्लेट पे आपको चीजें सर्व करने के लिए. यू विल हैव टू डू इट. एंड if you want to work in a law firm, who is that person a law firm is looking for? Not that person who can mug up things, who can like ratify things and like vomit on a on the piece of paper during the exam. No, law firms are looking for their future partners in you when they're hiring. So that's why some people get hired even during HR round, and some people do not even get the opportunity after technical round. Now who is that prospective partner they are looking for? Most importantly, the one who can bring business to the firm, who is good at like communication skills, who has a good personality, who can network easily, who can adjust easily, who is adaptable, who can work in a team environment. These are the different qualities they are looking for, and not just your what are your grades, which college are you from, the myopic things you guys get stuck at. They look for an overall personality. And if that is not there, then definitely you can keep crying that, oh, they didn't hire me because I was not from this brand, that brand. No, just see your college alumni record. How many people from the same college are still working in big firms? Had they been so specific about only NLUs, none of your seniors would have been able to make it there, right? So to make sure you have that overall aura and personality, you should from day one start focusing on doing networking. You might be an introvert, you might be an extrovert, you might be an ambivert. Keep that aside. Don't let that define you. Talking to people, you just can talk one person at a time, whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, whether you're an ambivert. You can at least talk to one person at a time. That's all you need to do. So build your own networks. I wanted to understand how these media houses function, and I was like, lete to ye bhi honge legal interns, because they must have their legal teams. Now how do I get it? So I was on LinkedIn at that point of time, and my account wasn't very active, like because one of my seniors had asked me to make that account, so I just did it. But I wasn't very active there. So there was this girl who was interning at Red Chilies from some random college, I do not even remember. And I simply messaged her. I started having a conversation that I was like, even you are in fourth year, I am also in fourth year. I just want to understand, how did you get this opportunity? Do they even take interns? Did you get it through contact? Or is there any other way in which I can also apply? I was very curious. I started having conversation. She said, yeah, I got it through a contact, but this is the official email ID. You apply it here. And yes, there is a vacancy. If you want, I can put in a word for you. Now, like bingo. Even though I had my initial this internship confirmed at that point of time, so I didn't apply and I didn't go because us time pe I wasn't very interested in media entertainment. But yeah, it didn't take me more than like 5-10 minutes to like understand what is the procedure. And you guys keep spamming the lawyers themselves. What is the procedure of applying to your firm? Do you even take interns? But there are so many other students who have updated on their profile that they've interned at the same place. If you are not very good friends with your batchmates, your colleagues, your college senior, juniors, no problem. The places where you've interned, network with them. On LinkedIn, the people you add, network with them, and you never know who might be able to help you. So these are different ways in which you plan your internships and make them into good internships, not only in terms of what work is being given to you, but actually as to what you make out of that work. Okay. Lastly, during your in-house internships or startup internships, it might happen that you may not get a lot of core legal work. So one thing I'll tell you is that these companies already have a good number of agreement work going on, contracts, and they have their templates fixed. What you can simply do is what I did during my in-house internship at Vodafone was, I simply told the clerk bhaiya that can you just let me read these contracts one by one? Like, can you give me access of each file for 10 to 15 minutes? And I'll read them in front of you only, like no clicking picture or anything. But I just want to understand how these contracts are drafted. So he was like, okay, fine. Like, because the senior also did not have any issue with it. So I got to explore, acha, what is a distributor agreement? What is a vendor agreement? What is a lease and license agreement? So you don't have to always look for somebody else to come and teach you. So many things you can observe on your own. Most of the firms or most of the offices you join, they will be asking you to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And yet most of the students don't know how to draft an NDA. So whatever document work, whatever contractual work is happening around you, whatever any other person is doing, and if you are not getting work, you can simply reach out to them, like forward your hand of support and say that, like, if could you also like let me know what is happening, if I can help you in any manner, something like that. Okay. So thereafter, I really hope that after this session, you are no longer going to call most of your internships as bad internships, but actually be able to convert those bad internships into good internships. Lastly, the other kind of bad internship people call are the ones where they did a good amount of work and they feel that the firm did not have a very good opinion about them. So, like, despite them killing themselves for at least 1 month, they were not able to convert it into a job offer. What to do in such a situation is simply at the end of the internship, write them an email asking them for a feedback. Now, if it is a negative feedback, You don't have to take it personally. Be open to feedbacks and criticism, because that is how we learn, that is how we understand what our weaknesses are. And weakness is nothing but an area of improvement, so that is exactly where you learn what your area of improvement was and how you can improve it better for the next place. So do not take it on ego and like be like, oh, but I didn't do anything wrong. It happened yesterday. One of our intern, second year girl, she submitted two articles and they were like copy pasted from two websites. We gave her the website URL also, that this article has been word by word copy pasted from here and has been pathetically paraphrased by software, which is making no sense. But she said, no, I didn't do anything wrong. There is no law which I've broken. How can you end my internship like this, or like how can you put such kind of blame? So then there like उस तरीके के students का हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते who are not willing to learn. But what you can do is like ask them for a feedback. If they give you a positive feedback, you would know that you were just having a self doubt and like actually they were actually like aware of the good work you were doing. Worst case scenario, if they give you a negative feedback, how you take a negative feedback is you tell them that okay, I wasn't aware of this, I got to learn something new here, not only in terms of the work you gave me but also like from this feedback, and therefore I would want to come back here again, work on, therefore I would want to work on my weaknesses and come back here again to be able to perform better, because you as a mentor have been able to give me a good feedback, good not in terms of positive or negative but good in terms of learning, right? So you've been able to like share a good feedback for me and therefore I want to continue learning under you. So if you're somebody who is enjoying the work, if you're getting quality work but you are not satisfied with your own performance and you feel that, oh, the firm may not give me a call back, that is the best way you convert it into a callback. My students have done it in the past. Like I always tell them, convert a no into a yes. That is the best challenge. There was another student from NUJS. He came to me and said, Samanaka, I've lost all the campus placement opportunities. What do I do? I simply told them, go back to the same firms, tell them to give you an assessment internship, and then convert it into a PPO. He's like, is it possible? I said, where is it written that it is not possible? Have they black listed you forever? He went, spoke to some of the HRs. They gave him the opportunity, right? So it is all about us as students. How do we take our own performance and how much are we willing to learn to make sure it is a good internship or a good experience at the end of the day? I think I've taken a lot of your time. I had said I'll be taking 45 to 50 minutes. I've crossed 1 hour. So Rashmi, if you want, we can take questions now. I think there were few in the chat box, or if you want me to pick them myself, I can do that.
Ma'am, I'll start putting up it on the screen.
Yeah, sure, anything
Okay.
works. Okay, I'm studying in first year commerce. How to apply, how to select the firm, finance internship tips. Okay, ideally we were targeting law students for this session, but what like though I'm not the expert here. So please don't mind. Briefly, what I can tell you is that in your first year, again, I'm not sure if BCom students do like core legal or sorry core commerce internship or not. What you can simply do is that go locally. That is the suggestion I'll also give to law students also. Instead of looking for a big brand, a big tagline or something, go for local search. Who is around you who's doing good kind of work in the domain which you want to explore? Like if you're going for a district court internship, you don't have to look for Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore district court lawyers only. Just go to your nearby district court and find out who are the top quality lawyers over there, who are just stand in the courtroom someday and observe what are the different kinds of lawyers who are coming and arguing, and which one do you think you will be vibing really well with. Most of the time your intuition helps you. Similarly for you, Hari, I would say that you simply look for the local offices around, reach out to them, offer them a helping hand, say that like I would want to explore with you for at least 5 months or at least 3 months, and I'll be committing like maybe 4 hours a day in the second half. And that's how you start your journey. So like one local experience at a time in your initial first 2 years actually helps you in getting the grassroots knowledge, because the bigger the firm, the bigger the brand, the like lesser time they will be able to invest on you as an intern. Yes. Yashi, next one. What is judicial internship under any judge? Judicial clerkship internship, sire, is basically where you intern with the chamber of a judge. Like, how do you think that judges are aware of all the cases which happen on day-to-day basis, and like they come prepared with their questions and all? There is a one full team they have, which is called the chamber of the judge, which is doing a lot of research work, helping them. They come prepared. They do a lot of study beforehand, so that like they can counter question to the advocates during the your what do you call the like when the arguments are happening in the court. So you're, as an intern, you get to do these kind of research works. You might be even asked to prepare notes of what happened, which lawyer said what, because uh, for a judge the homework is two-folded. One is to go prepared for what is going to happen in the court that day, and second is to come back and prepare based on what happened during the day. So as an intern you will be like helping them with those kind of research work and all. Next. Yashi. Yashi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Can you see the question?
It's still showing the same.
Okay, just a second. I think we are done with all of the
There is
questions.
one, I think. How to write a cover letter for an internship? Like,
Yeah.
what should we include? Okay. I usually say that your cover letter should be able to convey two things very clearly. One is, why do you want to intern with that particular team and that particular firm? And secondly, and most importantly, why, according to you, are you the right fit for them? That is something which most of the people skip. They simply say that, please, please, please help me in giving an internship opportunity. But आपके जैसे there are 1,000 more people who are saying the same thing. Now, can you simply give them a reason why, according to you, do you stand out and therefore you should be given this opportunity? At least these two things you should cover. If you're applying at lateral level where you have some experience and then you're applying for a job or an internship, then you can even add that how can you, based on your previous experience, add value to them. Next, I'm a fourth year student, but I never had a chance to go for intern as a class is always compulsory in attendance. I have to attend most for my class. Is there any chance for me? Rida, honestly, this is a very subjective question. I do offer one-on-one mentorships also, so you can reach out to me for that, because आपके जैसे ना बाकी सारे फोर्थ ईयर स्टूडेंट्स को अटेंडेंस मैंडेटरी था. इट वाजंट, दिस रूल वाजंट ओनली एप्लीकेबल टू वन स्टूडेंट और वन बैच or one college, right? So how was everybody else able to figure out? That is called time management, and we need to figure out firstly that why do you feel that you are not able to manage your time. Because I also know a second year student from Shastra University, now a fourth year student, Chennai, who was doing her classes, who was preparing for a mid semester exams, and also doing like a job and one or two internships parallelly during the same day. Even though I told her not to do like multiple internships at a time, I usually don't recommend, but she was able to balance it, right? So if a second year student could balance it, we need to first see where is it, like where is that internal blockage coming to you that you thought that you will not be able to balance. And secondly, yes, definitely you can start anytime. A law completes after 5 years, so even if you're in the final month of your law school, you can still like explore and do things. You still have one full year. Put it into like 3 to 4 quarters of 3 to 4 months each. Accordingly, you plan your long term internships. Start locally with lawyers around you, or start with smaller firms, independent lawyers, and then one step at a time you can go. I think this was the last question. How someone who doesn't know about research can write research papers? If you are from a generation of Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter also, if you've stalked your relatives, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, somebody's friends, then trust me, you already know research. Research is as that simple. आप लोगों ने stalking करी है अगर and you were able to find the answers, Trust me, you're already good at it. The only thing which creates a doubt in your mind is that you are not able to have the confidence कि मैं legal research कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं. Simple है, you start with Google, you start with Google Scholar, you start with JSTOR, you start with these free platforms, you start with India Kanun. If you do not have access to paid platforms like Manupatra, SEC, Westlaw, एंड यू स्टार्ट फाइंडिंग आंसर्स. बहुत छोटी छोटी रिसर्च क्वेरीज पिक करो, आप आपके एवरीडे लाइफ के लीगल चैलेंजेस पिक करो, एंड यू स्टार्ट फाइंडिंग द आंसर्स. दैट इज हाउ इट हैपेंस. सेकेंडली, देर आर सो मेनी वीडियोज अवेलेबल. लाइक मेरे भी कुछ यूट्यूब पे आपको वीडियोज मिल जाएंगे वेर आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड इन डेप्थ हाउ टू लाइक डू रिसर्च फ्रॉम स्क्रैच. Watch that video. I think that will be able to answer you, because that is a 1 hour long video, so I don't think I'll be able to cover it here in like 2 to 3 minutes. But there is a good amount of free content available on YouTube, which is quality content, from where you can learn the basics, and then like with practice. इट इज लाइक कैसे आएगा, एबीसीडी सीख लिया, ओके फाइन. एबीसीडी के लिए पहले किसी ने गाइड किया कि ठीक है क्या होता है अल्फाबेट, उससे आपने वर्ड्स बनाने सीख लिए, सेंटेंसेस बनाने सीख लिए. बट टू राइट एसेज यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस. सो सेम थिंग इज दैट वंस यू लर्न द बेसिक्स ऑफ रिसर्च, next thing which you already know because you've stalked people and all. Now the second thing where you're struggling in having confidence is ऐसे कैसे लिखेंगे, sentences लिखने तो आते हैं. So essays तो आप practice से ही आएंगे ना, ऐसे तो नहीं आएंगे. Same happens with research also. I'm going to intern with ASG. What I learn from, I can ask him some questions, and will that be a right way, because he's a big person. There is no such thing as big person or small person. Actually, like, it is only how we see them. uh, Big ho ya small ho in your views, at the end of the day everybody deserves respect, and maybe equal respect. There is no such thing as मैंने इसको ज़्यादा respect दी and कम respect दी. चाहे वो चाय वाले भैया हों, चाहे वो clerical notary वाले दादा हों, या फिर आपके like chief justice हों. I think everybody deserves good quality respect. Secondly, yes, you can ask him questions if he's giving you some questions. Firstly, if you're interning with ASG, I do not think you'll be directly assisting him. Mostly you'll be like working with his juniors, because they don't get a lot of time to interact. But yeah, once or twice if you come across him, you can definitely ask him questions, you can definitely ask him opinions, because that shows your sense of curiosity. कोई भी student अगर curious होता है, पता चलता है उसका दिमाग चल रहा है, पता चलता है he is physically and mentally present here, that he is able to think. अगर आप पूछोगे ही नहीं, आप visible कैसे होंगे, how would they remember you, right? So, but yeah, when you are asking a question, it shouldn't be that I'm asking a question only for the sake of it. Sir, आपका so and so murder के केस में क्या opinion है? And you yourself don't know the difference between culpable homicide amounting to murder and not amounting to murder. So if he ends up asking you that, okay, like, tell me, like, what all do you know about it, so that I can give you my opinion. Or if he starts sharing his opinion and then he asks you a quantum question but you have no idea, you just wanted to make an impression and then ask, wo mat karna. If you already know about it, like for example, there are so many constitutional matters or issues which are currently active in our country. Most important being the hijab matter, hijab controversy, and the marital rape thing. So if you're aware of it, and not only aware as a layman कि अच्छा हाँ न्यूज में आ रहा है ना, ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है, कर्नाटका में ये हुआ था, या फिर ये है ये, no, I'm talking about as a lawyer or as a law student, that what is the legal issue both the sides are trying to argue. Everybody knows the side of the girls, but what is the state government saying? Now, if you're aware of it, I'll tell you briefly, because I was reading about it some days back, not to show off, but yeah, I had just studied it some time back. That state government said that the constitutional essentialism principle, which was held in Sabrimala and Triple Talaq, should be applicable here. Should also be the main test in this. Now, as a student, if you want to go to a senior professional and discuss this matter, that sir, what are your views on it? At least you should do your homework कि अच्छा दोनों साइड से क्या बोला, इन्होंने राइट टू रिलीजन या राइट टू फ्रीडम या इस तरीके से बात करी, तो ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एसेंशियलिज्म की बात करें. ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एसेंशियलिज्म? ओके, इस जजमेंट में बोला था, ओके फाइन, दे आर सेइंग साबरीमाला ट्रिपल तलाक, खुद से ही जजमेंट के नाम भी बता रहे, एक बार देख लेते हैं साबरीमाला में क्या था, ट्रिपल तलाक में क्या था. उससे क्या हुआ कि you were not only aware of the hijab controversy, you also ended up preparing yourself for the other two cases. Now, during that discussion, if he ends up mentioning these cases, you'll not be like, क्या भूल गई है, मेरे तो सर के बाल हिल गए. You'll not behave like that. You'll be like, oh yeah, I know about this judgment. Yeah, yeah, I know the facts and all. And your body language will speak. They are always, seniors are always very enthusiastic to teach those people who are genuinely there to learn. But yes, for that, you have to come forward to show that, yes, I'm interested and I would be willing to learn. Can I do my first internship with state admin tribunal? Will that be helpful, or should I do that later on? See, if you can get an opportunity, if you do not have anything else planned, then you can definitely start there. But ideally, do it for a slightly longer duration so that you are able to grasp what was happening around. But otherwise, you can like choose to intern with the advocates and not the tribunal side first. Like first try to see what kind of arguments do they make, what kind of matters do they hear on everyday basis, what kind of research is done, and then maybe with a bench, if that is what your question was. First year student, 3-year course, I've started my internship. You have to write legal articles. I'm not sure if it's going to help me in the near future. Very good question, Tanya. Thank you so much for asking this. Lot of students from first year to fifth year, especially the ones who did couple of internships during pandemic, ended up saying this, that oh, they were only giving us legal blogs for their website, ghost writing work and all, and I don't know if that is helpful or not. A fifth year student told me the same thing. uh, Now entering fifth year, I think he was interning at a place where a senior gave him an assignment, and the assignment was that senior was preparing for his exam, so he asked the intern to do the like research and like prepare summaries of the cases. And he said, मैम such a pathetic work, मुझे तो जॉब चाहिए था, मेरा टाइम वेस्ट हो गया and ये वो. So like I didn't like it. So I told him one thing, that when you say a good internship or a bad internship, again, the assignment remains same. It is up to you how you see the outcome. Do you see the bowl half full or half empty? If I have to see that, oh yes, I'm understanding your emotion, so I can know understand that where it is coming from, that you are thinking that oh, उसने तो अपना personal काम करा, how is this going to help me in securing a job? But imagine if he wouldn't have given specifically told that this is for my exam, and he would have simply told you that this is an urgent work, we are doing it for a client, you would have been very excited to do the same research. Similarly, when somebody asks you to write research articles or blogs for their website, ultimately what are you doing at the end of the day? Aren't you just reading laws, case laws, putting them together in a structured manner and submitting it to somebody? What do you do when a client gives you this kind of work? He gives you a query, a topic to research. You do your research, you collect different case laws, collect different sections, put them together, draft a particular document, you submit it. Right? So, how are the two things different? It's only because somebody has told you that this is a legal article or a blog for my website, and you see that, oh, how am I going to, how is it going to help me in the future? What learning you took out of it was that you didn't know about that concept. Because somebody gave you that research topic, you ended up studying about it, you ended up digging more about it, you ended up reading more judgments about it, and therefore with a clear thought process, now you can put things together. You call it a legal opinion, or you call it a blog, or whatever name of that document you want to give. But ultimately what happened was you did learn something new. So the same internship, you can call it a pathetic internship because oh, they made me ghost write their articles, or you can call it a great learning experience. Here, I didn't know about these 10 topics, but because I was asked to write these 10 research papers, I did my research. I was able to structure my thoughts properly in a document. So yeah, it was a great learning experience. So like how you want to see the outcome of your internship is purely in your hands, and trust me, it is definitely going to help you if you are doing a quality research. Because if they're asking you to write legal articles, it is about legal issues. You are reading, you are learning how to like put your thoughts together in a flow. There was this girl who was applying to Justice Chandrachud's office sometime back, and I was helping her review her article. So she had done good quality research. I knew her for past 2 years, so I like whenever there was a research internship, I used to always recommend her name, that like she's great at research. So I knew her article would have very good quality research pointers. But when I started reading it, it took us, both of us, 4 hours sitting together to edit that article, because it was not going in a flow. There were pointers like ऊपर नीचे paragraph. So it just felt like, okay, she had one thought, she put it in one para, she got another thought, she put it in another para. And then I was like, where is the flow? This is not looking like a structured thing. So writing research articles for anybody, for yourself, for somebody else's, actually is a great exercise to practice. That helps you when you draft opinions for your clients. You get that clarity that, okay, this is how my flow should come, this is how it should make sense to the reader. Okay. All right. From the chat, I think I've taken all the questions. If there is any other question, please feel free to write it down here. I can take, I think, one more question if anybody else has. I'm not sure on other platforms what the students are writing, but I'm talking about the Air Meet where we are having this session. So, any other doubts? All right. So, for the
Um,
people over here, yeah,
yeah,
Rashmi,
you can continue. You can continue.
yeah, no, I was just saying that for people over here, if like, because you guys have been here for so long, if I've been able to answer all the things you were asking, if you could quickly give a feedback, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10. I haven't done this for a very long time. Webinar was something I was doing after a very long time, so I would also be able to understand that what my audience was looking for, was I able to deliver or not. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you could help me in understanding how much clarity were you able to get, so that next time I'm pretty sure there's a lot of scope of improvement, and accordingly I'll be able to polish. Yes, Rashmi, you were saying something.
No, no, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Audience members, 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Okay.
You have some good results.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that they were able to get the value they were looking for.
No, frankly speaking, I listened to almost all of it, like almost the entire webinar. And I was like, I wish I had this in my first year. Because if you see my resume, I mean, now it is good once I became a little bit more aware about things. But yeah, even I'm from a first generation family. Nobody in my entire clan is a lawyer. So
Okay.
it was a difficult thing. I did literally everything, and it was so random. I have
Mm.
one internship in some area. I have one moot court in some area, some publication in some other area. So there
Yeah.
is no streamlining. So I mean, this was really
Yeah.
helpful, and I'm
There is
glad I
actually
even
so much.
that I heard
Mm.
it.
Yeah. There's actually so much. Like, I remember even I had one paper on gender law in my CV. And then, luckily, because I was a part of RCC member, I had reviewed so many CVs. So I was able to like remove it before my cop job interview. But usually, people are not much aware of it. So, like, when I review CVs these days, uh, am I audible?
I think Samalika ma'am is facing some network issues. We'll wait for her for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll end the session. I think Samanika is facing some technical issues. So we'll wind up the session. Thank you, students, for joining us, and we'll be notifying you for any upcoming sessions for the same. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much.